cleans toilet. It can effectively remove even the hardest of the stains inside the toilet bowls. Just pour or spray it directly over the dirty bowl and then let it stay on it for several hours. Scrub with a brush, and flush it all to get a cleaner looking bowl. It cleans clothes too. Well, not your average beverage drink. We're talking about the infamous Coca-Cola. The beverage which we've been consuming for years as a snack to go with many food we enjoy. Yet very enjoyable, it is rarely but can be merely used as a cleaning agent. Let's talk about how possible this is, how it's done along with the controversies around it.
In case you're just joining in, at this channel, we discuss about many notable and interesting events in history and its effect in the world. Don't relent in expanding your knowledge. Broaden your horizon by subscribing and becoming part of this family. Leave a like on this video as we take you through a wonderful tour on the mind-blowing events that played out at that period in time.
You can use Coke to get rid of the grease stains from your clothes as it contains phosphoric acid. For stubborn grease stains, you just need to soak the dirty laundry in Coke for 30 minutes and then wash it normally with detergent. To remove rusts, Coca-Cola can be used to get rid of the rust from tools, bolts, and nuts. Just spray it over the rusted part of the hardware and leave it on for some time. Use a scrub to remove the rust stains and then wash it with water to get a rust-free finish on your tools. Clean baking equipment. Coca-Cola is really effective against the grease stains and can turn the greasy baking and cooking equipment into clean and shiny tools. Just pour some hot Coke over the greasy pans and let it sit for an hour. Scrub it all off and then rinse with warm water. Clean battery terminals. Use Coca-Cola to remove an excessive buildup of corrosive material at the terminals of the car battery. Simply pour the Coke directly over the battery terminals, let it stay on for some time, and then use a brush to scrub away all the corrosive debris. Do not forget to rinse the residual Coke away with some warm water. Originally marketed as a temperance drink and intended as a patent medicine, Coca-Cola was invented in the late 19th century by John Stitt Pemberton in Atlanta, Georgia. In 1888, Pemberton sold the ownership rights to Asa Griggs Candler, a businessman, whose marketing tactics led Coca-Cola to its dominance of the global soft drink market throughout the 20th and 21st century. The name refers to two of its original ingredients, coca leaves and cola nuts, a source of caffeine. The current formula of Coca-Cola remains a trade secret, however. A variety of reported recipes and experimental recreations have been published. The secrecy around the formula has been used by Coca-Cola in its marketing, as only a handful of anonymous employees know the formula. The drink has inspired imitators and created a whole classification of soft drink called colas. The Coca-Cola Company has on occasion introduced other cola drinks under the Coke name. The most common of these is Diet Coke, along with others including caffeine-free Coca-Cola, Diet Coke caffeine-free, Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, Coca-Cola Cherry, Coca-Cola Vanilla, and special versions with lemon, lime, and coffee. Confederate Colonel John Pemberton, wounded in the American Civil War and addicted to morphine, also had a medical degree and began a quest to find a substitute for the problematic drug. In 1885, at Pemberton's Eagle Drug and Chemical House, his drugstore in Columbus, Georgia, he registered Pemberton's French wine Coca Nerve Tonic. Pemberton's tonic may have been inspired by the formidable success of Vin Mariani, a French Corsican coca wine, but his recipe additionally included the African cola nut, the beverage's source of caffeine. A Spanish drink called Cola Coca was presented at a contest in Philadelphia in 1885. a year before the official birth of Coca-Cola. The rights for this Spanish drink were bought by Coca-Cola in 1953. In 1886, when Atlanta and Fulton County passed prohibition legislation, Pemberton responded by developing Coca-Cola, a non-alcoholic version of Pemberton's French wine Coca. It was marketed as Coca-Cola the Temperance Drink, which appealed to many people as the temperance movement enjoyed wide support during this time. The first sales were at Jacob's Pharmacy in Atlanta, Georgia, on May 8, 1886, where it initially sold for 5 cents a glass. Drugstore soda fountains were popular in the United States at the time due to the belief that carbonated water was good for the health, and Pemberton's new drink was marketed and sold as a patent medicine, Pemberton claiming it a cure for many diseases, including morphine addiction, indigestion, nerve disorders, headaches, and impotence. Pemberton ran the first advertisement for the beverage on May 29 of the same year in the Atlanta Journal. By 1888, 3 versions of Coca-Cola sold by 3 separate businesses were on the market. A co-partnership had been formed on January 14, 1888, between Pemberton and 4 Atlanta businessmen. Not codified by any signed document, a verbal statement given by Asa Candler years later asserted under testimony that he had acquired a stake in Pemberton's company as early as 1887. John Pemberton declared that the name Coca-Cola belonged to his son, Charlie, but the other 2 manufacturers could continue to use the formula. Charlie Pemberton's record of control over the Coca-Cola name was the underlying factor that allowed for him to participate as a major shareholder in the March 1888 Coca-Cola Company Incorporation filing made in his father's place. Charlie's exclusive control over the Coca-Cola name became a continual thorn in Asa Candler's side. Candler's oldest son, Charles Howard Candler, authored a book in 1950 published by Emory University. In this definitive biography about his father, Candler specifically states, on April 14, 1888, the young druggist Asa Griggs Candler purchased a 1/3 interest in the formula of an almost completely unknown proprietary elixir known as Coca-Cola. But actually deal was between John Pemberton's son Charlie, Walker, and Candler Company, with John Pemberton acting as co-signer for his son. For $50 down and $500 in 30 days, Walker, Candler Company, obtained all of the 1/3 interest in the Coca-Cola Company that Charlie held, all while Charlie still held on to the name. After the April 14th deal, on April 17, 1888, 1/2 of the Walker/Dozier interest shares were acquired by Candler for an additional $750. After Candler had gained a better foothold on Coca-Cola in April 1888, he nevertheless was forced to sell the beverage he produced with the recipe he had under the names Yum Yum and Coke. This was while Charlie Pemberton was selling the elixir, although a cruder mixture, under the name Coca-Cola, all with his father's blessing. By the middle of 1888, the Atlanta pharmacist was quite anxious to establish a firmer legal claim to Coca-Cola, and hoped he could force his 2 competitors, Walker and Dozier, completely out of the business, as well. John Pemberton died suddenly on August 16, 1888.
Asa Candler then decided to move swiftly forward to attain full control of the entire Coca-Cola operation. Charlie Pemberton, an alcoholic and opium addict, unnerved Asa Candler more than anyone else.
Candler is said to have quickly maneuvered to purchase the exclusive rights to the name Coca-Cola from Pemberton's son Charlie immediately after he learned of Dr. Pemberton's death. One of several stories states that Candler approached Charlie's mother at John Pemberton's funeral and offered her $300 in cash for the rights to the name.
In Charles Howard Candler's 1950 book about his father, he stated, on August 30, 1888, his father, Asa Candler, became the sole proprietor of Coca-Cola, a fact which was stated on letterheads, invoice blanks and advertising copy. With this action on August 30, 1888, Candler's sole control became technically all true. Candler had negotiated with Margaret Dozier and her brother Woolfolk Walker a full payment amounting to $1,000, which all agreed Candler could pay off with a series of notes over a specified time span. By May 1, 1889, Candler was now claiming full ownership of the Coca-Cola beverage, with a total investment outlay by Candler for the drink enterprise over the years amounting to $2,300. In 1914, Margaret Dozier, as a co-owner of the original Coca-Cola Company in 1888, came forward to claim that her signature on the 1888 Coca-Cola Company bill of sale had been forged. Subsequent analysis of other similar transfer documents had also indicated John Pemberton's signature had most likely been forged as well, which some accounts claim was precipitated by his son Charlie. In 1892, Asa Candler set out to incorporate a second company, the Coca-Cola Company, the current corporation. He had the earliest records of the Coca-Cola Company destroyed in 1910. This action was claimed to have been made during a move to new corporation offices around this time. On June 23, 1894, Charlie Pemberton was found unconscious with a stick of opium by his side. 10 days later, Charlie died at Atlanta's Grady Hospital at the age of 40. In the year 1888, a key moment arrived for Candler as he secured full control of the beloved Coca-Cola beverage. By completing a deal with Margaret Dozier and Woolfolk Walker, Candler acquired sole ownership in exchange for a payment of $1,000, to be settled in installments. This agreement ultimately led to Candler's official claim to the Coca-Cola enterprise, with his total investment reaching $2,300 by May 1, 1889. Fast forward to 1914, a surprising revelation emerged when Margaret Dozier alleged that her signature on the 1888 Coca-Cola Company bill of sale had been forged. Further examination of other transfer documents hinted at the possible forgery of John Pemberton's signature as well, a situation that was said to be instigated by his son Charlie. Jumping ahead to 1892, Candler moved to establish a new entity known as the Coca-Cola Company, effectively phasing out the original organization. The earliest documents of the initial Coca-Cola Company were reportedly destroyed in 1910 during an office relocation. Tragedy struck in June 1894 when Charlie Pemberton was discovered unconscious with opium nearby, leading to his untimely death at Atlanta's Grady Hospital just 10 days later at the age of 40. On September 12, 1919, Coca-Cola Company was purchased by a group of investors led by Ernest Woodruff's Trust Company for $25 million and reincorporated under Delaware General Corporation Law. The company publicly offered 500,000 shares of the company for $40 a share. In 1923, his son Robert W. Woodruff was elected president of the company. Woodruff expanded the company and brought Coca-Cola to the rest of the world. Coca-Cola began distributing bottles as six-packs, encouraging customers to purchase the beverage for their home. During its first several decades, Coca-Cola officially wanted to be known by its full name despite being commonly known as Coke. This was due to company fears that the term Coke would eventually become a generic trademark, which to an extent became true in the southern United States where Coke is used even for non-Coca-Cola products. The company also didn't want to confuse its drink with the similarly named coal byproduct that clearly wasn't safe to consume. Eventually, out for fears that another company may claim the trademark for Coke, Coca-Cola finally embraced it and officially endorsed the name Coke in 1941. Coke eventually became a registered trademark of the Coca-Cola Company in 1945. In 1986, the Coca-Cola Company merged with two of their bottling operators, owned by JTL Corporation and BCI Holding Corporation, to form Coca-Cola Enterprises Incorporated, CCE. In December 1991, Coca-Cola Enterprises merged with the Johnston Coca-Cola Bottling Group Incorporated.
Let's observe these significant facts. Coca-Cola exists because a colonel who was a pharmacist that battled with addiction tried to find a cure, which was said to be in coca leaves, which contained cocaine, and bitter colas, which contained caffeine. The first version had alcohol in it and was a kind of wine. The logo for it was invented by the bookkeeper of Mr. Pemberton, the inventor of Coca-Cola. Frank M. Robinson, the bookkeeper, suggested the name and penned the now famous trademark Coca-Cola in his unique script. Asa Candler, who was formerly a partner, gains full ownership of Coca-Cola after buying it from the other partners and son of John Pemberton. To today, Coca-Cola is a global phenomenon whose influence cannot be underestimated in fast food and soda consumption. See you in our other upload, guys.
Hey guys, if you've made it this far, please leave a like on our video to encourage more content from us. Subscribe to see more interesting videos. Don't forget to share to your loved ones and comment your thoughts too. Check out our other videos for more interesting stories. See you in our next upload.